Hi guys, in this video we are going to discuss how to integrate Django and pandas, and to be more precise we are going to create a model. Out of this model we will create several objects, and then we are going to write a query set which we will later put into a pandas data frame. So in order to begin we need to have a Django project created, and we also need to have pandas installed. So as you can see, I wrote down pip freeze command and I have already pandas installed, but if you don't have, you need to write down simply pip install pandas. Alright, so now as you can see, here is the confirmation that I have it already installed, and without further ado, let's go to Visual Studio Code and let's see what I have done there. So I created a base HTML file inside the templates folder. So in the main project folder I created a templates folder and I put in the base HTML. Also in the settings py file I added some basic settings for the templates. Alright, so as a next step we are going to use this installed apps, and we are going to extend it by providing an app name which we will create. So I'm going to write down cars because this will be the name of our application. I'm not saving the settings py file just yet because over here in the terminal I'm going to create this application. So Python manage py start app, and then let's write cars. So okay, I misspelled, I'm sorry for this. Python manage py start app and cars. Alright, so the cars is created, it's over here, and yes, we will save now the settings py file and jump into models py file, because here we need to create a model, and we will create simply a class with the name of a car, and then let's write that it inherits from models.model, and now we need to create some fields. So first of all I'm going to create a field for the brand, and this will be models char field with the max length of, let's say, 200, and then after the brand maybe we would like to have the model, so again it will be models char field with the max length of 200 again, and then maybe we would like to have the max speed, so this time it will be models positive integer field, and we would also like to have the country, so where this car comes from. So this could be also, I'm going to copy this time, models char field, and the final step is added. This will be models date time field, and then we need to pass in auto now add is equal to true. So if you're not sure what this date time field with auto now add is equal to true means, it's basically saying that every time an object is created we will store date and time in this field. If we would write down auto now is equal to true, this would mean that every time an object, this particular object, is saved, so it could be updated, this date time field would be updated as well. So in this case it would be more proper to name this field, instead of added, updated. Okay, but we want to have added, so it will be saved only once while creation. Okay, so auto now add is equal to true. And what's interesting about this auto now add is equals to true, or auto now is equals to true, is the fact that whenever we set it to true, because the default value is false, it becomes basically editable equals to false. Okay, so we won't be actually able to see it in the admin. We will see brand, model, max speed, country, but this added will be set automatically and we won't be able to edit it directly from the admin. So Let's move forward and let's create a dunder method. So I'm going to write down def str, so we are creating a string representation right now, and let's just return, maybe we will return the brand and the model for now. Self brand and then self model. Okay, so the self brand goes here, self models goes there. And let's make some adjustments to the fields. I want to have the country field set as blank equals to true, so this way this field is optional. And then I'm going to override the save method, which takes in self. Let's just put in args and keyword args, and let's write down pass for now. So whenever we will select a particular brand, the country will be set automatically. So if we would have a car with the brand of Audi, this Audi is created in Germany, so it comes from Germany, so we will set the country field to Germany. And maybe we can do one more adjustment over here. So let's put some choices to the brand. Choices, and we need to create those choices. So this field will be an option field. We will have a list where we can simply click and select a brand. So let's write down brand choices, and let's open up a tuple, and inside this tuple we will write another tuple. So first of all, maybe we can pass in Mercedes, and on the left is the value that will be actually stored, and over here is the one that we will see in the admin, so Mercedes. Okay, and then what else? Maybe we can write down Tesla. What else? Let's do two more. BMW, and maybe Audi. So now we have one car from the States. I think Tesla is from the States, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Mercedes, BMW, and Audi from Germany. Okay, so we can take those brand choices and put it in over here. Alright, so now we can continue working on our save method. So let's write a check. If self brand is equal to Mercedes, no, sorry, let's make it more simple. If self brand is equals to Tesla, then we would like to set self country to USA. And then in other cases, we want self country to be Germany. All right, and then we need to write down super save args and keyword args. Okay, so I guess I hope this will be working. I hope I didn't make any typos. So let's save it and let's go to the admin, because we need to register this model in our admin so we can actually see it and create objects from the admin. So we need to import this model. So from .models import car, and we need to write down admin site register car. Okay, so we can save it and let's go back to the terminal. Over here we need to write down Python manage py make migrations, Python manage py migrate, and Python manage py run server. Okay, and as you probably no, I already created a super user, so you need to do this in order to continue. And we have a confirmation that Django is working, and we need to log into the admin. So /admin, and here let's put in the name of the super user and the password. So if you don't know, the command to create a super user is simply python manage py create super user. Alright, so let's log in, and over here we have our cars, so we can create some. And as you can see, the country is blank, so it's optional. I don't need to provide this this name, and it's going to be set automatically because we have overridden the save method. So let's check this out. So I'm going to write down Mercedes, an S model maybe. Let's say the max speed is 260 kilometers per hour. Let's save and continue editing. And as you can see, we have this country field already created. And as you can see, we don't see any date time field. So this added field is invisible for us. All right. So let's add maybe another one. So we can maybe this time create a Tesla car. Let's just put in also S model, and let's put the max speed maybe 280, and let's save and continue editing. So over here we have an issue. So Tesla is also set to Germany. And why is that? Well, here is the problem. We set it to Tesla when we should set it to Tesla with capital letters. So let's fix this. Tesla, if self brand is equals to Tesla, self country USA, and else self country Germany. So this is the value that is stored in the database, and we just provided the name that we saw in the admin. So now if we save it, and let's just go back, let's go to the cars, let's delete this Tesla, and let's add a new one. So I'm going to write down Tesla S 280, and let's save this now. And as you can see, now it's correct. Now we have the proper result. Alright, so we can continue. We can add maybe a few more cards. BMW Model 3, max speed, I don't know, 230. And let's save and continue editing. Germany, everything is alright. So let's add another one, and let's maybe add an Audi A4 with the max speed maybe 220, and also let's save it. So as you can see, it's also alright. Now we can go back to Visual Studio Code and start working on our views. So let's go to the views py file, and over here we need to begin with doing some imports. So first of all, let's import the model. So from .models import car, and also let's import pandas as PD. All right, and now we can define our first view. Let's call it main view. This will be actually the one and only view for this video, and it takes in request. And now let's define a query set. So we are going to take all the car objects, so car objects all, and as the first step we are going to print it out in the console. So print QS, okay, and then we can simply write return render request, and then we need to pass in the template, which we don't have right now, and then what we are passing into the template, and we aren't passing anything just yet. So let's take care of this template. Let's go to the cars, and here let's create a templates folder. Inside the templates folder, let's just write cars. And if you are new to Django and you're quite not sure how this works, I created a course on Udemy Django Made Easy where all those concepts are explained, so I'm leaving a link in the description if you're interested, of course. And then we can write down in the cars our template. Let's call it main HTML. All right, HTML. Perfect. So in the views py file, we can now, instead of template, write down the path. So cars and then main HTML. So we have the templates and then we are passing the cars and main HTML, and here is the context which we don't have just yet. So now we can go ahead and save this and we can do something in the main HTML. So we want this main HTML template to extend our base HTML. So we want to have the opportunity to adjust the block title and the block content. So we can provide some unique content in those blocks. So in order to work with this template to extend our main HTML from the base HTML, we need to write down extends base HTML, and then we need to write down the blocks that are provided in the base HTML. So I'm just going to paste the code to save some time in typing. So the block title is already provided, I just called it main, and we will work a little bit more on the block content. Very important is to include this extends base HTML. Okay, so let's save this. And there's one more thing to do. We need to go to our main project folder and find the URLs py file, and over here we need to import include, and then we need to include the URLs of our application in the project. So we don't have a URLs py file created just yet, but we will do this in just a second. But for now we can simply write down path, and then let's keep it as the main path, and then we need to write down include, and then cars, URLs, and provide the namespace as, let's say, cars. Okay, so we will access the cars application and then the URLs py file which we need to create. So let's create it right now. URLs py, and I just noticed that I didn't save this file, so I'm going to do it now, and maybe I can copy this and put it inside, and actually I can grab this as well. So I'm just going to delete this, and then I have the path, the URL patterns. One thing that I need is the view. So from dot views import the main view. Okay, and now let's set this path. So let's also keep it blank. This will be the main path, and that's why the view is called the main view, and the name we can write down as home. And one more thing that we need to do is to set the app name, so it will match the namespace, and the namespace is cars, so let's just write cars over here as well. And now if we save it, I think we have everything. We can go back and let's try this out. So what do we get? We don't get anything over here, but we can see the query set. However, if we go to the base HTML, okay, no content is provided here, and in the main HTML no content is provided here as well. So let's just write hello world. Let's save it and let's refresh. Hello world, and again here's our query sets. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and let's go to the views. Here we have our query set, and let's try to put this into our data frame, which we will create just now. So let's write data and then pd data frame, and let's pass in this QS. Okay, so let's see what are the results right now. Of course, we need to print out not the QS but the data. So let's be sure to put this data inside the print. All right, now let's refresh, and as you can see, we have some results. So basically we can go actually to this print statement and print out also the shape. So we can again save it and then reload this, and we will see what's going on. So we have 4 rows and 1 column, and as you can see, these are the values of our string representation. So if we go back to Visual Studio Code and access the models.py file, and over here extend this, and here we can pass in self.country and save it, and then refresh this again and go back to the terminal. Nothing happened because we have the shape, so sorry for this. We need to go back to the views and of course get rid of this shape because the shape won't change itself. And now let's refresh, and as you can see, we have the country added. So this is nothing but the string representation. All right, what we can do now is just forget about those 2 lines of code, and we can copy the query set and then paste it below, and we can write down queryset2, and then we can write down print queryset, and then print something like this to have to separate queryset1 from queryset2, which we will print out just in a second. But having a query set in Django, when we have a query set in Django, we have access to the values and then the values list. Okay, so this will return our data in the form of a dictionary, and this one will return it in a form of a tuple. So we can confirm if I'm telling the truth in just a second. I'm going to save it, and then let's just go back, refresh, and as you can see, here is our query set 1, and as you can see, we have nothing else but a dictionary, and over here we have a tuple. Okay, so this is how it's working. And now if we grab this query set or query set 2 and try to put it in a data frame, let's see what are going to be the results. So I'm going to get rid of this, or maybe I can just put this back in, copy it, and let's see what happens now. I'm going to write down data and then data2 and then QS2. Let's just print out now this data and data2. Let's see what are going to be the results. Okay, so we can just do it like this and save it, refresh, and in both cases we have a working data frame. But in case of the values, we also have the columns. If we are dealing with the values list, we are losing the columns. Okay, so this is the difference, and this is why we are going to use the values. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this QS2. I'm going to get rid of the data, the print statements. Yeah, we have it over here, so we don't need this line of code, and we can bring in the print data. All right, so we have our data frame right now, and we can see it in the console. The next step is to display it in the template. So now I'm going to create context. This is going to be a dictionary, and over here we can write down what we are going to pass in the template. So we can write down maybe dataframe df, and we will assign it to data. So this df we will use in the template, and in order for this to work we need to pass in the context over here. So we are passing this to our template. Now if we save it and go to the main HTML, below we can simply write df, and it won't be quite working yet, but we will see some results. So if we save it, go back and refresh, as you can see we have already some information: ID, brand, model. Here are our columns, and then we have simply the data. Alright, but of course this isn't the result that we want to achieve. So if we go to views py, and after the data we can write down to HTML, okay, we will see something else. We will see those HTML tags, and in order to get rid of them and to see actually a table, we need to go back to main HTML and use the save template tag. Okay, and now if we save it, we will finally get our table. So as you can see, now we received this data frame, and we displayed it in the template. All right, so let's do another thing. We can go back to views py, and we can write down over here describe, and then we can write down df describe. We need to add a comma over here, and we can write down again to HTML, and it's not df, sorry, it's data. Okay, so instead of df we need to put data. Now we can save it and take this describe, and we can go back to main HTML. Here we can create a horizontal line, and then again we can write down describe with this save template tag and save it. Let's save it and refresh. And now as you can see we get some parameters. So we get we don't need to look at the ID, but we should be interested in the max speed. So we have some information about the mean, the standard deviation, the min, the 25% value, the median, the 70% value, and the max. So I think we are going to finish off over here. New things, new videos regarding the integration of Django and pandas and other data science libraries are going to appear in my channel very soon. So please don't forget to subscribe, and we will see each other in the next video. So thank you for this one, and have a great day. Bye bye.